There is a reason why the most desired men don't chase the attract. And in a world where everyone is busy running after love, validation, and attention, the man WHO stands out, you see. Letting he come to you isn't about playing games, it is about knowing your worth. It is about mastering the art of stillness in a world that worships the chase. If you have to convince her, win her. Or chase her constantly just to keep her owned, then ask yourself, what are you really winning? A woman who truly values you will find her way to you. She will lean in. She will notice your absence. And she will want to be there, not because you begged, but because your presence speaks for itself. This isn't about arrogance. It is about confidence. It is about being the kind of man WHO doesn't need to prove his value because he already lives it. The kind of man who understands love that is meant for you doesn't have to be hunted down. It will walk toward you when you are still, whole, and ready. Let her come to you. What WHO shows up when you stop running the woman WHO truly values you will not make you chase her endlessly. One of the most common mistakes men make is believing that persistence alone will eventually end them love. But there is a fine line between genuine pursuit and desperate chasing. When someone is genuinely interested, you won't have to constantly remind them of your existence. You won't have to send message after message, hoping she finally sees your worth. Because the truth is, when a woman is interested, it shows, and when she is not, that shows even more clearly every time you ignore the signs that she is not interested. When she doesn't return your calls, gives one who dances, avoids making plans, you're sending a message to yourself that your time, your energy, and your emotions don't matter. You begin to trade your self-respect for the illusion of connection. But real connection cannot be forced. It flows naturally when two people are emotionally aligned and interested in each other. If you constantly have to chase, beg, or perform to hold her attention, then it is not you she wants, it is the attention, the validation, the idea of being desired. And that is not love. You may think you're showing strength by not giving up, but sometimes walking away is the strongest move you can make. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. When you refuse to chase someone who won't meet you halfway, you're retelling the world and yourselves that you are worthy of being chosen, not begged for. Love should never feel like you're convincing someone to carry. It should feel mutual, clear, and secure. The man who knows his value will never overextend himself for someone who can't see it. When a woman sees that you are confident enough to let her walk away, if she is truly present, it shifts the dynamic. She realizes that your attention is not something to be taken lightly. She sees that you are not desperate, you are discerning. You are not seeking anyone just to fill a void, you are waiting for the one who truly sees you. And when she sees that, she will either step up or step out. Either way, you win, because the wrong one walks away and the right one walks toward you freely, genuinely. And with intention, stop running toward people WHO are walking away from you. You deserve more than forced conversations, unanswered messages, and one-sided effort. Let her come to you, not because you're trying to play hard to get, but because you finally understand your worth. Masculine energy is most powerful when it is rooted, calm, and centered. There is something deeply magnetic about a man who knows who he is and doesn't feel the need to constantly prove it. In a world where so many people are caught up in trying to impress, dominate, or chase after attention, the man who remains grounded becomes irresistible. This is a man WHO doesn't flinch when things get uncomfortable. It doesn't react out of fear or anxiety. It responds with presence, and that presence speaks louder than any words or flashy gestures ever could. When you are centered in your masculine energy, you don't chase, you attract. You attract not by running after someone, but by standing firm in your truth. You know your value, so you don't beg to be seen. You command respect not with force, but with quiet confidence. Women are drawn to this, not because you're trying to manipulate the situation, but because they feel something solid in you, something dependable, something rare. You become the calm in their storm, the clarity in their confusion, and in that stillness, they find something they can trust. So many men confuse dominance with masculinity, but real masculinity is not loud, it is secure. It doesn't seek to control. It seeks to understand. It doesn't explode with emotion. It channels it. When you are centered, you don't let your emotions rule your actions. You pause, reflect, and move with intention. That is a kind of energy that leaves an imprint on people. That is the kind of energy that a woman remembers even when you're not in the room. This kind of energy doesn't beg for attention. It naturally receives it. A man rooted in his pepas does the get thrown of course because someone didn't. Reply to a text. Stays focused, stays calm, and that calmness becomes a silent invitation for others to meet him at his level. The man who leads himself first is the one others are willing to follow. And that is the key, not to control anyone's actions, but to be so deeply aligned with yourself that others are inspired to align with you when you allow your masculine energy to remain centered. You become a force, not because you aggressive, but because you unshakable. You don't flinch when someone pulls away. You don't panic when there is a silence. You understand that if something or someone is meant for you, it will flow toward you, not away from you. And if it doesn't, you don't lose yourself in trying to force what isn't ready or real. La energía masculina más atractiva es la que no necesita imponerse, sino simplemente mantenerse firme y en paz consigo misma. Silence is often misunderstood. In relationships, many people fear it, assuming that if they are not constantly communicating, they have forgotten. But the truth is, silence can speak volumes when you do it confidence and intention. For a man who is emotionally grounded, silence is not a weakness, it is a tool. A powerful one. It is the space where mystery lives. It is where attraction has room to grow. Constant availability, constant waits, constant chasing, those things can actually repel more than they attract. But silence? Silence creates space. Space to think. Space to wonder. Space to feel your absence. When you go quiet. Not out of manipulation, but from a place of strength, it forces others to evaluate how they feel about you. It forces them to question what your absence means. You become more noticeable when you are not always trying to be seen. You become more valued when you don't make yourself constantly accessible. There is nothing more attractive than someone. WHO is un boteret. WHO can sit in silence without needing reassurance every second. That kind of presence creates intrigue. It causes others to lean in to wonder what is going on in your world. And that curiosity, when you've been authentic, works in your favor. Many men give away their power too easily by over-explaining, over-messaging, or constantly initiating. They think that effort will lead to admission. But admission doesn't grow from desperation. It grows from composure. When you're able to sit back and allow things to unfold naturally, you're showing that you're not afraid of space. You're not afraid of being alone. You're not addicted to attention. That confidence is rare and deeply attractive. Letting silence do the work doesn't mean ignoring someone you care about. It means giving them room to miss you, to think about you, to choose you without pressure. People value what they must reach for. And if you're always feeling the silence, always doing the emotional labor for both of you, then you're not giving her a chance to show up for you. The woman who truly wants you will find her way back into the space your silence created. She will speak into secret, not because she was forced, but because she wanted to. It is not your job to always be the one talking, proving, explaining, or initiating. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is pause and say nothing. Let the silence test the bond. Let it reveal what is real and what was only ever being kept alive by your effort. In that quiet, the truth surfaces. If she reaches out, if she leans in, you know it is genuine. If she doesn't, you've saved yourself from chasing someone. WHO never intended to meet you halfway. The way people treat you is often a direct reflection of what you've taught them to expect. And the teaching doesn't come from your words, it comes from your actions. It comes from your boundaries, your standards, and how you show up for yourself when you carry yourself with self-respect. People notice .th y may not say it out loud, but they feel it. They feel when you have a line they shouldn't cross. They feel when you won't tolerate being taken for granted. And they adjust their behavior accordingly. On the other hand, when you constantly give to those who give you very little, when you stay available to those who are inconsistent, you send a message that you don't value yourself enough to walk away. Self-worth is not something you say you have, it is something you like. It shows up in how you allow people to speak to you. It shows up in how quickly you respond to disrespect. It shows up in whether you settle for breadcrumbs or wait for the full meal. When you have real self-worth, you don't get excited over attention. You look for intention. You look for consistency. You look for effort. And if it is not there, you don't beg for it, you move on. People treat you the way you treat yourself.